Deadside is a dope game. I mean, it's like dual personalities, right? On one end, you've got the, quote unquote hardcore PvP side, which in my opinion, I believe this is the way the game is supposed to be played. Like this is its intended purpose is actually its intended purpose is just to shoot motherfuckers in the face. However, I believe that primarily it is a PvP game. But the cool thing about this is that you can play on PvE servers, player versus environment servers, official servers too, not like modded or anything like that. And then on top of that, you can play modded servers that are also just strictly PvE and strictly PvE or a mixture of both. I love that. I love the fact that like the reason why I said this game has a dual personality is because when you play PvP, it's like I said earlier, quote unquote, on hardcore, meaning that like all the gear that you accumulated through your playthrough can get instantly looted if you get killed, and then you start from scratch as a freshie, very similar to DayZ or like I haven't played Tarkov, Escape from Tarkov, but I've been hearing a lot of similarities between these two games. I would go as far as to even call Deadside Tarkov light, and I say that out of respect. Actually, it's a compliment because I don't own Tarkov. I've never played Tarkov, but I've seen many videos online, so that makes me an automatic expert. No, I'm joking. It doesn't. I've been The main thing that's keeping me from buying Tarkov, honestly, is the fact that it's strictly PvP. And me personally, um, I feel like that formula. I've discussed this before. At least I think so. I can't even remember anything anymore. It's all a haze. But the main reason that's keeping me from buying Tarkov is the fact that it's strictly PvP. Now, let me rephrase that. There is PvE elements, like there's scabs, there's NPCs and AI that you can shoot or whatever, and I'm assuming you can loot also. But its primary focus is PvP, and I I get it. Like you can say the same thing about DayZ. Like I like playing a modded version of DayZ where I play with AI, like bots from like the Steam Workshop, fantastic Steam Workshop mods that people have spent a lot of time and possibly even money developing. And but that's not the way the game's intended to be played. It's supposed to DayZ is supposed to be, for you to get the full experience. It's supposed to be PvP. You're supposed to jump on a server and talk to these fucking weirdos that will befriend you and then shoot you in the back of the head. Like that's a psycho way to play, right? Like, hey man, like for that, like I can understand Call of Duty. Like you could just jump in, shoot a couple motherfuckers. Everybody has an understanding. Like, hey man, this is a PvP game. We're gonna shoot each other. There is no befriending. There is no like backstabbing. It's just like, hey man, we're gonna jump inside of this tiny sandbox and we're gonna shoot each other silly for hours and then sign out for today and then do it again tomorrow after work. DayZ, it's psycho. It's like an experiment on the psychology of human beings, and some of them, as we already know, are far gone, man. Like in DayZ, you'll get disarmed, and I'm in this case, I mean metaphorically. Then you get disarmed, literally, but metaphorically you get disarmed because people are like, "Hey, are you friendly? Yeah, I'm friendly. Oh, cool, man. Here, sit by the fire. We've got fish that we're currently baking. Oh, cool, man. I was just silencer to the back of the head. And it's just like that's so psycho, right? Because it's not like Call of Duty or Apex Legends or Valorant or CS:GO. You pick your choice on a competitive shooter. It's a straightforward process, right? You jump in, kill motherfuckers, jump out. In this case, it's like you befriend them and you make them feel like, oh, this is a pretty cool squad of people, and then you get fucking murdered, and it's like serial killer shit. Like if you want to play DayZ and not be psychologically fucked up after a playthrough, then you have to literally not take the game serious. You have to run around and play the game with no fear. Like you'd be like, look, like they say gear fear, right? Like you amass fantastic guns and armor and cooking supplies so you can extend your goal of survival in DayZ for so long, because that's pretty much the gist of the game, is to survive. Like there's no storyline, there's no real plot other than survive, which is the same plot as DayZ, by the way. Hence why I talking so much about DayZ instead of Deadside, the game I'm supposed to be talking about. But yeah, DayZ's a very psycho game, but it's fucking interesting, and I totally see people why they love it because there's a lot of deep mechanics. It's way more than a shooter. It's just not a PvP game, although that it's in its core. There's survival elements, whatever, man. There's nothing that I'm telling you guys that you don't know, man. You guys have been Daisy players for a long fucking time. At least a lot of you, or most of you. I'm relatively new. Um, but Deadside is a game that I'm happy that it's progressing in the sense of like it's got positive reviews on Steam, and everyone, the general consensus of the game is that hey man, this game is fun. It's a fun game, and we just want to see it developed further because it is missing some key features from like other more successful long-standing games, right? Because this game's been in development for about 3 years, Deadside, as opposed to, once again, to bring up DayZ, that game's been in development for like 10, 11 years or something like that. Um, as well as um, other games that are kind of sort of similar, or at least mods like Arma 3 mods that, have survival, like, Epoch, and I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Epoch. And like Ravage, and what was the other one? Exile. Like, sh- sure, these games aren't in its core. Like Arma is a military simulator, but with these mods, they turn into a survival game. Hence, what this is where all DayZ came from. We all know this. I'm giving you lore that everyone knows already. But what I'm saying is, Deadside, the general consensus is that it's just missing a few features. Some land vehicles. I personally, I would like more deeper survival mechanics. I don't know where I heard this from. I don't know if it was just some guy screaming in the fucking like on the Steam boards or whatever, or if it was the actual developer. But I heard something along the lines that Deadside is trying to implement more survival features. So I'm assuming they're going to deepen the mechanics of survival because right now it's pretty basic. It's just you thirst meter, hunger meter. There's not even a stamina meter. And to put a sleep meter in a PvP PvE game is kind of silly. Although I would like that, but how would you even implement that, right? Like people can just shoot you in your sleep. Like maybe that's what needs to happen. Oh, I caught this motherfucker while he was sleeping. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of realistic. No, I mean it's very realistic. It's not kind of realistic, but like how can you implement that in a game where everyone's running around shooting each other? Like it would feel cheap to shoot someone in the face. Unless it's DayZ, it's totally accepted, you fucking psychos. But I feel the same way with Deadside. And on one end, you've got this hardcore, and this is what I was supposed to explain. This is my third time trying to explain it. My fucking brain is trailing all over the place. What I was trying to say, I got a little list here of shit that I'm supposed to be fucking rattling off, and I keep interrupting my own self. What I was gonna say is this game has a dual personality. When you jump on a PvP server, it feels quote unquote hardcore. It feels like you're shooting shit and dying, and everything's high risk. It's a slash extraction game, right? Like you amass a lot of loot, you try to survive players and scabs, and then you go to these safe zones and you trade with a trader. Very Tarkov light. You know what I mean? And that's dope. It works perfectly fine that way. It's much quicker. The animations are much faster. You get loot quicker. Even in the description, it says you get guns faster or something like that. I thought that was a little cheesy, to be honest. But whatever. That was on the Steam page written by the developer, if I'm not mistaken. He said you get guns faster. Let me clarify. Like I said, I read that and I kind of cringed a little bit, but I get it. Like, a lot of people don't like DayZ because it takes a long time for you to get a decent kit. And then for what? To get sniped by some dude hiding behind trees, and it's like you start it all over. So I totally understand why people are just like, dude, I can't do this. But that's the PvP experience at that side. When you jump on a PvE server, though, it turns into a fucking MMO. People are running around with little green arrows on top of their heads that signifying that that's a player, and everyone's chatting and helping each other out and giving each other guns, and some are dirtbags. You'll do a mission, and at the end you win this like you unlock this loot box after finishing a mission. And some dicks, they run in there and they grab a bunch of shit. They wait for you to finish it up, and they you know grab a bunch of shit and roll out. And I remember when I was playing Deadside just recently, me and my friend were finishing up a medium mission. You got easy, medium, hard, and then epic. I'm on medium still, but I'm working my way towards hard. She's The friend that I'm playing with is absolutely loving this game. She's on this every chance she gets. And I'm happy because I like this game too, but like she likes this game. Like I would say she even loves this game. Like she plays it a lot. But I'm happy because I'm the one that introduced her to the game, and she can't stop playing it. That's all she wants to do. That's all she talks about. So I'm just happy that she's happy. You know what I mean? So I like, and I like the game too, which helps out a lot. So we can just at night, whenever we finish our jobs and whenever we got some time, I'll make a little drink or whatever. She's at her place. She'll sign on. I sign on. We'll play for a couple hours and have a blast. Right? I'm really enjoying Deadside, but it turns into an MMO. You know, no other player can't, they can't kill you. So all you guys are forced to do is do missions together and just collect loot. So now you no longer have the threat of your loot getting taken away from you, although it can still happen because if a scab kills you or an NPC, AI, whatever name you want to use, um, you drop all your shit and you have to run from one spawn point to another to where you just died at. And sometimes that's you can't spam that spawn point. There's a cooldown on it. So you would have to go farther and farther and farther every time you die. That's your punishment. I like that. I know that sounds crazy, but I like that because it gives you this sense of like I gotta get to my shit as quick as possible. You get this sense of urgency, like you can lose all your shit if you don't hurry up. I like that. I don't want games to be easy. Like I would say a traditional game. You can say easy, you can say traditional, but like traditional games, no matter what happens, you always keep your shit. You know, like Skyrim and stuff like that. No knock to Skyrim. Skyrim is the goat. You know, it's quite possibly the greatest game of all time, arguably. But you know, in the sense of like, you know, you don't have to worry about losing your loot. You know, that same potion you picked up on level 1, on level 50, it'll still be there if you haven't used it. No matter how many times you died, no matter how many realms you've been through, you know, like it'll be there. So it's cool to see that this game has like a dual personality MMO shooter, and also it keeps that quote unquote hardcore. I keep saying quote unquote because that sounds cheesy to me. Like this game is hardcore. Like I don't know, something about it sounds, it makes me cringe a little bit. But I'm assuming by hardcore the developer means that it's difficult. It's difficult by nature. Like the gunplay is semi-realistic, and you can lose all your shit in just a few shots. You know what I mean? And I like that once again because I like realism to my game, at least a touch of realism, not 100% realism. Although I'm open to that. Imagine they came out with a video game that's like 100% realistic. That'd be kind of cool. Well, anyways, yeah, like you can get a dose of whatever you like. Jump on PVE servers, PvP servers. Me and my friend have been playing on mainly PvE servers. I'm not a big PvP guy. I told you that. I was playing earlier. I was playing Deadside for about an hour. I didn't encounter any other players though, but it was like I think the server was the max amount of people it can have on a PvP server or a PvE server, just a server in general. I think it's 50, but I was at like 30 something, 35. It was a European server, and she met a player and got killed by a player. Then saw him in a safe zone. She was not happy. I didn't encounter any players. I heard some guys on boats and shit like that because that's the only currently available vehicle right now is a boat. There's no land vehicles to my knowledge. And that's one of the biggest complaints right now from people because there's a shitload of walking and running in this case. Thank God there's no stamina bar as of right now, although I would like for that to be implemented into the future. Once again, I just want the game to be semi realistic. At least some sort of a stamina bar, you know, where you can't spam it and everyone should have it, even the scabs. You know, like everyone should have some sort of a stamina bar where they can chase you, but, you know, or they can sprint towards you, but then, you know, after a while you can't spam it. Eventually you'll start to just like a light jog or something like that, for you can recover your stamina so you can sprint again in the future. I would like for that to be implemented. As far as I don't know if they're gonna go with the old traditional Daisy diseases and stuff like that, like drinking out each other's canteens and getting diseases. I don't know if they'll. I mean, I'm okay with that. It does make the game a little more um realistic, and also adds a deeper survival element to it. But I don't know if that belongs in Deadside because if you've played Deadside, it's just a quick paced. It's like the best way I can describe it. Everyone keeps saying it's like Tarkov. It's like blah. The best way I can describe it, it's like CS:GO meets like Daisy. You know what I mean? Like it feels fast paced, but harder than like a CS:GO game, for example. Uh, but also it's kind of deep in the sense that like you have to drink and eat, and you can die with just a few shots. It's you can lose all your gear. So it's a weird mixture. It's like if someone modded CS:GO and added survival elements. That's what Deadside feels, which is totally all right with me because CS:GO is pretty cool. I think I played CS:GO maybe once. I'm not sure, but I've never. Once again, I'm not a competitive shooter type dude, and not that I have anything against it. I think it's cool. I just feel like it's very shallow for me. Like I only could do that for like an hour or two before I'm like, all right, I want to play something else. Like shooting each other inside of a confined space. It's like it's fun, but at the same time, it's I don't know. The thrill wears off fast for me. It's kind of like those people who gamble, right? Like you ever seen those people who just repeatedly play the same game? Like whether it's blackjack, whether it's slots, whether it's poker, whether it's roulette, like they'll sit there and they'll play that same little game with the same little mechanics over and over and for hours and hours and hours. I can't do that. Like I understand there's a hell of an incentive when it comes to gambling, which is money, right? You're sitting there for hours to win money. I'm pretty sure that's the guiding force as to why people can stay in such areas and spots for such a long time, where there may be I mean, I heard that there's some people who are so scared or they're so addicted to. I wouldn't say scared. There's so there's hardcore gambling addicts out there that would literally shit their chair. The chair and in the casino that they're sitting on, they would shit on their chair and pee on their chair because they don't want to get up. I guess because they feel like that's a quote unquote lucky machine, or they're so addicted, they're so fucking captivated that they're not even paying attention to their basic bodily needs. I don't know the mechanism behind that. Now, what I'm describing is obviously a hardcore example, right? Hardcore. It's a hardcore example. And but what I'm trying to say is that if you look at blackjack, it's a fucking simple game. If you look at slots, it's a fucking simple game. And for me to sit there and do something fucking simple for hours and hours, I'm gonna lose my mind. I need something a little more complex, something that involves a little more, traveling. I like exploration games. I like games. Sure, if the game's difficult, by all means, I would love that. If the game's easy, by all means, that's cool too. But I need some sort of an exploration element to it. I want to run around and check worlds out and go like, oh, look at that. That looks cool. That looks cool. But everyone's different. Some people are totally cool with just being in a giant warehouse shooting each other to shit for hours and hours. This is why I equate those people that like there's just some people out there, they may not be fucked up mentally or be those people in the extreme casino examples that I just named, but there are some people out there who are totally okay with doing simple tasks for hours and hours on end. Do you know what I mean? Like I am not one of those people, and I'm not knocking those people. Like I'm just saying that I ain't one of those people. Like some people are totally fine coming home and playing solitaire for hours and hours and hours by themselves. I knew an old dude that my friend used to date. He used to date this older chick, and she lived with her father, and then he ended up living with both of them. So the father owned the house. He lived with his daughter. My friend dated his daughter, and they all lived together. And he would sit in front of his computer for hours and play solitaire. Occasionally, he'll play gambling games too, but a lot of times he'll just play solitaire, just him and a computer. And I'm just sitting there like for hours, dude, hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. And I'm just like, how can anyone be fucking that entertained for, you know what I mean? From such a simple whatever, man, to each their own, right? I got to stop bitching about it and just accept the fact that that's the way some people are. I feel like a lot of those people, not all of them, be very careful. Not everyone. There's some smart motherfuckers out there who love competitive games. They love the competition aspect of it, right? There's some motherfuckers out there who are into IT and are 10 times smarter than me, and they're running around wrecking shit in CSGO, right? Because they just want to play, they like the competition. It gets their blood going. Awesome. Totally cool with that. So it's not everyone, but I'm just saying it takes like usually in my if I had to guess, those people who play those competitive shooters all the time, strictly PvP, are people who are totally okay with doing like a simple task for hours and hours on end. Once again, not everyone, just some. That's my fucking breakdown, psychological breakdown of people. And trust me, I'm a doctor. Don't trust me, I'm not a doctor. I hate to be that guy that just adds to the voice that's already the loudest. With Deadside, the loudest voice is, "Oh, this game's awesome, but I would love to see more updates." I hate to be that guy that just seconds that, like a friend that goes like, "It's cold here. It's cold in here," and then I just come out of nowhere and go, "Yeah, you know what else? It's cold in here too." I was like, "Shut the fuck up, dude. I just said that." That's what I feel like I'm doing now. Everyone's like, "Oh, this game's awesome, but it needs more updates," and it's me like, "Yeah, guess what, guys? This game's great, right? But it just needs more updates." That that's exactly what I'm doing right now. But it is true. I mean, every now and then the old cliches ring true. In this particular case, it is true. The game's great. It's great now, and dude, it's on sale right now as of January of 2024. If you want to be more specific, it is the 22nd of January 2024, and it's on sale for like $10. Tiny Build bought out this company. Bad Pixel is the name of this developer, which I'm trying to get to my second point in my little sticky note. Let me bring up my sticky note because I'm a professional. I have sticky notes. Goddamn professional. Tiny Pixel bought out Bad Pixel, which is the developer of Deadside, and they are helping with updates. And you can see them. Like, it hasn't been updated in about a month now for Deadside. I'm getting a little itchy, to be honest with you. I want to see what's next. But so now that the developers or the developer, I don't even know if it's one person in Dead Pixel, the developing group, or if it's two people, three people, if it's a whole group. But now it's that how many people are in Dead Pixel or Bad Pixel. Sorry, I keep saying Dead Pixel, right? I think that the company's called Bad Pixel, BAD Pixel. Or is it called Dead Pixel? Something Pixel, man, is either bad or is dead. The pixel's dead or the pixel's bad. I don't know. But they got bought out by Tiny Pixel. Dude, Tiny Build. Oh my god. Did I mention I was professional? So, anyways, they got bought out by Tiny Build. I think that's the name of the. What the fuck is wrong with me? So now Deadside should have way more support, and I'm cool with that because, like I said earlier, it's been about a month. I think it's been exactly a month on this. Today, the 23rd. Yes, tomorrow would be exactly a month since their last update. They still have Christmas shit on their servers. Like, you go into like traders and there's a giant Christmas tree, and I'm like, okay, you can tell this hasn't been updated in the last couple of weeks, but that's okay. I'm just itchy, man. I'm being impatient. That's what it is. Where what am I going with the sticky note? Oh yeah, another thing is this, right? I maybe it's just me, but I'm noticing this stigma about PVE in Deadside compared to PvP, right? Like they have proximity chat, right? So we're in the traders, and you hear other people talking to each other, right? You're just eavesdropping essentially, being a creep, but a decent creep. You're at least pretending to be busy while you're eavesdropping. You because you're classy. So they're talking, they're having a conversation, and you could tell both of them are, I don't know, they're kind of like they're dudeish. And when I say dudeish, I mean like, you know how dudes are just like, yeah, once knocked this dude out, like fucking flat out, bro. And then the other dude's like, yeah, I know, man. Like, sometimes people just test you. Like they're both posturing. I guess that's the real word for it. They're kind of posturing. They're both, but one was like, oh yeah, PvP's great, because I'm in a PvE server. I'm sorry. I'm in a PvE server. I'm in a player versus environment server, and these two posturing guys are also in the PvE server with me. And one of them is saying to the other, like, "Oh, this is a PvE is a good place to learn. That way you can learn the maps, and then you can do like the real things, like PvP." He didn't say the real things. I'm being a little dramatic, but what he was trying to say is just like this is baby mode. PvE is baby mode, but you can kind of learn the maps and the guns, and then you can go in PvP and go kill some like wreck some dudes or whatever the terminology young people use nowadays. So I remember just listening to him. And I remember going like, and it's funny because I've heard that from a lot of like chat boards or whatever you want to call them, message boards. That's from like Steam or Reddit, especially Reddit. I see that a lot. A lot of people write that. They go with different games like DayZ or other games. They'll say things like, yeah, it's PVE. It's good if you want to learn the ropes, if you want to learn. And I'm just like, what? Why don't you just play PVE because you enjoy it? Like you don't have to go like, oh yeah, I'm a little embarrassed that it's PVE because I should be out there being a hard ass, hardcore mercenary on PvP mode. Instead, I'm here in PVE mode being a baby, building stuff with my friends and having fun. You're not supposed to have fun in PvP in a shooter. You're supposed to shoot and be mad. You know what I mean? Like that's the gist I got from those dudes, and I'm like, that sucks because like he's on a PVE server because he fucking enjoys it. He probably gets tired of the formula of getting shot, gearing up, getting shot, starting all over, gearing up, getting shot, starting all over, rinse and repeat because that shit gets boring. I'm sorry, it does. It doesn't keep me entertained for a while. So he's like, let me go on PVE, and there's like a nice little community in Deadside for the last few days, last 2 weeks that I've been playing Deadside. I've barely encountered anybody toxic, at least on the East Coast server that I play here in the US. So I've barely encountered anybody who's a dick. You know, of course, yeah, you have those people who will steal supplies after a mission and all that. Yeah, those are assholes. But that's a small price to pay. One dude called my friend a hoe, but like in a playful way. But it was kind of awkward, and he realized it was awkward because then he just ran off after because we had like this campfire and we killed the deer and we were like cooking the meat, and I guess he had raw meat on him, and he just came out of nowhere and started using our fire. I didn't care, you know. I was okay, cool, you know. And then he was, oh hey guys, I just want to cook this meat. And he hears that my friend is a girl or whatever, and then I don't know what he says. I think he says something like, "Oh, you're being like a little ho ho" or something like that. And then she was like silent, and then he ate his meat, and then he was just like, he just ran off. Like he didn't say anything else. And then my friend goes like, "Did he call me a hoe?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess." But like, he didn't say it like in a disrespect. I mean, calling someone a hoe is disrespectful no matter how you say it. But I'm just like I don't know. It was almost like he intended it to be playful, but then he quickly realized it was awkward, and then he ran off. It was like that. It wasn't like he just straight up was like, "You bitch." You know, in that case, he's like, "All right, now he's just being an asshole, bro." It was just an awkward encounter, but that with the fact that the dude who lied to me and said he was looking for a big base building supply. I don't even know if I finished telling that story. I probably did. Jeez, I'm sorry if I'm saying this twice in the same goddamn podcast. But like the dude, me and my friend were finishing up a mission, and I started to say it and I got trailed off like I classically do. But me and her were doing a mission together, and this dude was already there, and he skirted around. He waited until we finished the mission, and then he ended up picking up the supplies that were meant for us because we pretty much did all of the work. But he disarmed me by saying, because I saw him in the area and I was running around shooting shit. He wasn't shooting anyone as far as I know. He was just skulking around. And he sees me and he sees that I see him, and he goes, "Oh, don't worry about it." He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I don't say nothing because I don't have my mic on. And then he goes, "Well, I'm just here picking up base building supplies." And I was like, "Oh," he kind of disarmed me because I was like, okay, maybe he's just getting sheet metal and all the stuff he needs to make base building supplies or whatever. As soon as we finish this mission, this motherfucker runs to the lock, to the loot, to the lock, the loot that was formerly locked. Now it's open because we finished the mission. And he grabs all the good shit and runs off. And me and me and my friend are looking at each other like, did he just fucking? She was like, yeah, fucking asshole. And I was just like, why would he do that? That was just a shitty move. But anyways, that along with the weird ho ho guy, those two are the worst experiences in the last maybe 2 weeks that I've been playing this game. So that's nothing, man, compared to like other crazy toxic games that I've played, like or that I hear about all the time. It's wild. Another thing about this dead pixel company that makes Deadside is like they're one of those mysterious like developers that like you don't see anything on. I don't think they have an official website, and I looked online and said they're from Russia, Ohio. I don't know if that's a joke, or if there's actually a place in Ohio named Russia. Excuse me. Or are they some are from Russia and some are from Ohio? It's confusing, but when you play the game, it's 100% like foreign. It feels foreign. You know what I mean? Like at least from United States citizens' perspective. Like it's like the buildings and the text are all in like what I'm assuming is Russian. Looks like Russian, unless it's a made up language that looks like Russian. The traders speak Russian, or at least a language that sounds a lot like Russian. I don't know. I'm not proficient at all in Russian, so I wouldn't know. But it sounds like it to me. But they're saying they're from Russia, Ohio, and I'm like, this is a fucking joke. What is this? Like, who wrote this? I don't know. Maybe there is a place in Ohio named Russia. That's great. Like, first of all, to tell someone you're from Russia, but you're really from Ohio. That's man. That's like a joke that'll never get old for me. What do we got here? Yeah, that's pretty much everything I needed to cover about the game. I mean, to summarize, fun game, loads of potential. Right now it's $10. If you were 10 fucking dollars, you get a hell of a lot of game for $10 and hours and hours, days and weeks of replayability. Even though it's still in early access and it's not fully fleshed out, I'm not going to sit here and paint a pretty picture for you, but even when it's not on sale, the game is $20. And even with $20 is totally fucking worth it, man. It's like I said, you get a lot of game for $20, and then it's constantly being built. And now that it's being funded by a, pretty successful indie developer company, I think they created like games like Hello Neighbor and other types of games. I've seen Tiny build around for a while, actually. So it's cool that they bought out this game. I heard that the main guy, the CEO or CFO or whatever you call the big guy, big wig dude. He uh he ended up playing Deadside for I think it was like 100 hours or something like that because he enjoyed the game. He had no affiliation with them at this time. It was just a game that seemed to interest him on Steam, and he ended up playing it, and he dropped like 100 hours on it and was like, man, this game's fucking cool. Like maybe I can reach out to the developer and we can work out some sort of deal, and that's exactly what happened. And they ended up buying Dead Pixel or whatever, and I'm like, damn, that's so cool, man, right? Like because the developer, like, he can go talk to the other developer who like it's like, yo, dude, I enjoy your game, man. Your game, like, I genuinely enjoy your game. Like, I want to see this develop. Like, and once again, like I said, even he himself, as well as me, and as well as like hundreds of others who've played this game. It's weird how we're all like symbiotic. Is it symbiotic? Is that the word I'm looking for? But we all have like this understanding, this general consensus of this game. Of course, you've got others that don't like the game at all. You're always going to have those, right? Those seem to be the loudest. Empty cans make the loudest noises. So you're always going to have bad reviews and people who are just like, this game sucks. It's a lot of walking. It's a walking simulator. It's blah, blah, blah. There's always people like that, and they're entitled to their opinions. And some of them are incoherent as fuck and they make no sense. And then some of them are kind of like, okay, I can see why you're upset. You know what I mean? So, you be your own person. Listen to your heart. So it's cool though that I would say that like I can totally side with pretty much everyone in this case. Normally I not yeah, I always make up my own opinion. I always have my own opinion, even in the face of like 50 people telling me things are one way. I'm stubborn to the point where I'm just like I'm stubborn to the point where I'll actually sit there and do the research to find my own opinion on it. I won't be like I won't be contradictory on purpose, or I won't be that guy that's, contrarian. I won't be that guy that's just like, oh, whatever is popular, Danny's not gonna like. So don't even like. I know some people may have that perception of me because I've been told that before in my younger years. Like, oh, well, I don't like to share anything with you because you're not gonna like it. You don't like anything that's like popular, and there's truth to that. I'm not gonna lie, there's truth to that. But you gotta understand, I'm not disliking popular things for the sake of disliking them. I'm disliking popular things because I genuinely don't like them. There's a difference, but people they misinterpret that. They go, "Oh, you don't like anything popular." But that's people. I can't control what they think, right? I'm here for it. I'm here for the development, the further development of it. I'm once again, like I told you earlier, I'm antsy for this update. It's been a month. Come on, give me something. It's Monday. Give me a little time. I'm getting a little taste of our product, man. We'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, take care and take care of each other. Isn't that from is that, is that Jerry Springer that said that? Was it Mari? Whatever. Be safe, guys. I'll hopefully I could drop another one of these. I'm 100% gonna drop another one of these before the end of the month. I promise you that. Now that I put it out into the ether, I have to do it. I have to light a fire under my ass, man. I keep saying to myself at least 4 a month, but I've been hitting that 3 mark a month, and I'm not cool with that, man. But it looks like this month it might be to 3 mark. But I know I'm at least hit you with another one, and at least before the end of this month, at the very least, or exactly at the end of the month, whatever it may be. Be safe.